How's it going? In this video, a little bit about getting out this stinking Texas snow and into some sunshine and some good food, and a little bit about a DOT audit. Hope you like the video. Cheers. Okay, so it's much nicer weather than it was the last time we made a video. I think it was in Texas and it was hundreds of snow, hundreds of ice, but since then that horrible storm Yuri has passed through and we're not on a truck at the minute. I'm in Southern California. I come down here for my wife to actually fly home, and decided against that because I didn't want to pay $1,750 and $750. No, see you later. You're too short. I'm going to tip this down for you.
Hi.
Hi. Didn't want to pay £1,750 pounds for quarantine restrictions. In the UK, if you go into the UK from 33 into England from 33 countries, you have to quarantine. But in Scotland, they decided to take it a little bit further and make it
all the countries.
Every country on the planet. So the only drawback with that is, you know, you're going on holiday in Scotland in a hotel that you're locked into. But the other biggest problem is if you're in there with 33 other people, people from the other 33 countries that have got this variant, it's not a smart move. So,
no.
But we
scary stuff.
We come here for the airport and decided to spend a couple of days down here and enjoy the sunshine, and it's been cracking.
Great.
To be honest with you, just going to go up the coast a bit.
Just makes you feel so much better.
The sunshine makes a difference, it does so. So just going to go up the coast a bit for a couple of days, and when I was in dry dock with the dreaded lurgy, you got a bunch of I stayed in the Hilton hotels. What?
There's people about.
When I had the but when I did have that, I stayed in the Hilton Hotel, the Hampton Inn in Idaho Falls for weeks, and managed to get a bunch of free rooms through their Hilton Rewards program. So I'm going to use Hilton Honors. Going to use the free nights and spend some time up in some bits of California that I've never been to. You don't get to drive up the coast highway in a truck, so that's what we're going to do in a personal vehicle. So yeah, happy with that? Alright, but
at least the roads aren't scary either.
the roads are not scary.
They're a bit scary on the traffic.
California people drive a wee bit differently. It's very aggressive. My first day back in here, I thought this is kind of strange the way everybody's driving, and the second day I thought, you know what, I've lived in London, I've driven in Europe, and I've been around. If you want to play aggressive driver with me, let's bring it on. So, but anyway, the trucks are they're all doing good. The one that went into oil field is doing really well. We had a wee bit of a delay in it at the weekend, but Wes has persevered, thank you very much, and stuck with it, and it's really paid off for him. So he's doing 2 loads a day and they're 200 mile each direction, so the rate's good on it. You get the first day you get started, you only got to work half the day, and he got 1 load that day, and he kept on going and got 2 yesterday, and he's dropping his first one off the now, so he's doing well. The rates seem to be doing super good at the minute. They dipped a bit last week slightly, but now they're popping up high again. So I noticed that the price of fuel's up, and alright, okay, see you in a minute. The price of oil is up to above $60 a gallon. It's $60 a gallon. $60 a barrel, $63 now today. Some of that's probably based on the fact that they're lifting the travel restrictions They say that the only thing that's keeping the price of oil down is the low demand for jet fuel, so now that we're going to get to travel between different parts of the world, that'll make a difference. So, wife's away for a walk. But that's what's going on with the trucks, that's what's going on with us. Yeah, they're all running alright. That Texas thing, I'll tell you what, that could be the summer. That could be. The good thing about the oil field is, in my opinion, it's only my opinion, I put a video in there about how much money you can make, but you can stay steady over the road. And somebody made a comment on one of the videos, when the oil field is good, and the first time I went down there I just got in at the end of it, but there's guys down there that paid off their trucks, paid off their trailers, paid off their house, had 100 grand in their pocket, and it changed their lives. And when it is busy in Texas, in the oil field, the rates are that good that it can change your life. So if it was, and having said that, when the rates have come up there, they've also come up going over the road. I'll tell you, I got a load for Paul, a guy who was desperate today, going from Portland. No, it's Hood River in Oregon, so it's on the way back out of there. From Portland into Denver, drops off Denver Friday, and then Saturday it goes to Grand Junction, Colorado. It's $6,000. That's fantasy money to me. And then we got offered a load from a broker that the day for Brett going back down to El Paso, just paying. I took the load 3 weeks ago, and I thought that was a good rate. And this rate is paying $1,500 more. And I don't know why. They said, "Do you guys do that for this rate?" I thought, I would have done it for nearly half that. So they're coming up, but the fuel's coming up as well. So that's probably why the rates are coming up. But yeah, and one more thing, just one more thing. We had an audit. I've been dealing with that for the last few days, and thanks to, I'll edit this back on. Somebody phoned there to interrupt it, but he put all the stuff together for me. It wasn't a full-blown audit, but it was a hours of service audit. We get 3 hours of service violations in the last 12 months, and the DOT said, have a look at these guys. But one of them, or two of them were definite. We were bobtailing in a truck, didn't have a trailer on it, in New Mexico, for personal use, and the guy decided it wasn't personal use, and that was his interpretation, so that's going to be taken off a record. And the one that Brett had going across, it said on there food bank load, for the exemption, the guy said that was ridiculous, that one shouldn't be on it. So he explained how the exemptions work. I've always been curious about how does it work when you've got an exempt load on, and then you get a non-exempt load, and then you go back to that. What do you log? How do you keep track? You know, he said, gave me some really good advice on it, and so apparently the people in each state, Idaho's got 50 guys who are DOT trained. The guys that ride around the pickups where they store the stuff in the back, all the equipment, they're DOT guys. The state troopers in the cars, they've got some DOT training, but they get some things wrong, especially when it comes to an exemption like this. But he said some states are just not trucker friendly, whereas Idaho relies on trucks to get all the agricultural and dairy product out of there, and all the lumber up in the north. So, but really the way the rules work are, if you're under dispatch on a load that is a COVID load, so let's just say my truck's picking up over in Parma, load of onions, and he's in Idaho Falls, you're allowed to deadhead to pick up a COVID load. I've said the word. You're allowed to go pick up that load, and that's log exempt as well. So if you've got, I send my guys the rate confirmation over that says what they're doing, they are dispatched on that load, they're allowed to go get that load. If they go down to Florida, drop off in Miami and bounce back up to Orlando for a load of sweet corn, that's exempt as well. The sweet corn load, that's exempt. If they get up into the Carolinas and they're going to go pick up a load of spray foam or something that's non-exempt, that deadhead from there to pick up that load is not exempt, neither is the load. But he said if you just run your logs all the time, if it comes up that you've got violations on your iPad or your screen, it doesn't mean it's a violation. It's the software telling you that it might be a violation. If you've got paperwork to show that that was an exempt load, then you're okay. But he said a lot of people run their logs so that the drivers don't get out of the habit of running the logs and think everything's COVID and you get into trouble. So look, 2 of those are okay. The third one is out for debate at the minute, whether the gloves were necessary. I think they were, but he's very helpful. I have to say that the DOT staff here, it's nothing like at home. I always felt like when the enforcement people come out to you, they're smiling assassins. They're smiling at you and they've got knives ready to cut you up into bits. How's things, Tom? Aye, you alright? Aye, good. Got a cup of tea? Aye, no bother. Get him a cup of tea, get him a biscuit, then they go through your stuff, and then it gets to the end and you go, come here. And but these people here are very helpful to try and get you in the right path if you've made a mistake because you've been misinformed. That snow is critical, you know, as long as you're not trying to deliberately circumvent rules and do things illegally, you're alright. And we're trying to do things right. Sometimes you get misinformation from somewhere. I get informed that it's okay to bobtail, so I bobtailed and I was stopped bobtailing. My friend George was over at the time and yeah, it's fine. On you go, carry on, bobtailing. My pal's here, take him round about, using the hotel as a motorhome. Sorry, the truck is a kind of motorhome type thing. But says some people just interpret the rules the way they want to interpret them. So that's why we get one of our violations, and it's just not always black and white. And sometimes when it's grey, the officers at the scene interpret it their way. He did tell me and give me some good advice. It says that I should print off the exemption and put it in the front folder of the truck sheet with the insurance registration after. So put that in there, explain to the guy this is the load that you're running on, this is the exemption. If he still doesn't do it, ask to speak to his boss. If that's it, he said just leave it, and then you go into a thing called data queue and appeal the ticket. I appealed it to the state of New Mexico, and that's just like appealing it to somebody that's giving it to you and begging. He says no, you go into data queue and appeal it there, and the feds look at it and they decide impartially whether it was issued correctly or incorrectly. So he's helping us a lot. Gave me his number. Any questions, call him up. Fantastic. Great to have that type of support rather than feeling that the VOSA guys are trying to trip you up. You know, people get pulled over, get an inspection, and they'll, you know, there's one classic case I remember where a guy had a pin missing, a tack missing out of the carpet in one of his steps in his coach, and it just, somebody had tripped on it, it pulled it and it came up and popped off, and you get a deal, you get an inspection, and they put him off the road. And at home that means you need to get a full annual test, and so they put him off the road, pushed in the thing, right, you're good to go again, give him a variation to carry on. But it's just ticking a box, getting a score against the operator, and a little victory for the small-minded person that's doing that at the side of the road. I put him off the road because he had an unsafe carpet. It was a trip hazard. Well, the pin was there and they put the pin back in and then let the variance go and let him travel on with his people. But that operator still has to get, that goes against his record. He's still got to get an annual test for that. So here it feels much more helpful and try to help you do things the right way rather than find ways to trip you up. So anyway, I better go catch my wife. She's walking away around about this boat marina. We stayed here last night. We're going to go and make the most of our 3 nights or a couple of nights. I'm jumping into the truck that Paul's driving in 4 days time, so we'll be back on the road here and hopefully heading back down to Texas, and it'll be nice and warm. So, but that's what's going on. We're here in the trucking gig. That's it. Thanks for watching.